after I slated Azizam that I should listen to his new song, Old Phone.
Their account was comparing Ed Sheeran to the ChatGPT of 2025. Now, their account is about Taylor Swift, and I saw a comment that said, Taylor Swift does the exact same thing. I just finished my course at Berklee College of Music, which I got all A's in, about Taylor Swift's songwriting, so I will explain to you why Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift do the same thing but sound so different, and why people are favouring Taylor Swift against Ed Sheeran. Within good songwriting, songs that are strong, there are specific things and requirements that you need to mix. So for the same thing as a painter needs good paints, he needs good quality brushes, they need good canvases. Song needs the same things. Different types of melody contours, different movement within the song, different instrumentation. So there are so many comments saying that Ed Sheeran's old songs used to be so much more poetic and so much more heartfelt. And I agree, and I think that's because he's using these tools, whereas now he is more focusing on the production and groove of the track. And if you focus on the production and the groove of the track, yes, you'll have a simpler song, but they're catchy. And that is one of the tools, is hooks. Now, what Taylor Swift does is that she uses all of the tools. So she will use different motions, she will use contours in her songs, she will use literary devices. She will do that whether she means to or not. She does it, and with every single song you can identify loads of different patterns that she uses. Now, what Ed is doing, I believe, is focusing on just one of the tools rather than all of them. So in his early works, let's say Small Bump, he would focus on imagery, he'd focus on how the production builds, he'd focus on all of that. And now, with his new music, people are finding it repetitive, although it's catchy, because he is focusing only on hooks. That's a whole feat in songwriting itself. It's incredible. He's a brilliant songwriter, but he is not using his storytelling abilities as such. Hooks are an important part of the songwriting, like incredible. And I think personally that hooks can stand on their own, as proven by Ed Sheeran. Think of like your favourite song that isn't the deepest song in the world and isn't the most like profound. Hug Me by Pharrell Williams for Despicable Me. It doesn't paint a beautiful picture of all of this amazing like imagery and all this sense-bound writing, but it is catchy. And I wonder if being catchy is sometimes transferable against not using literary devices. I mean, it also could be another thing of which pen he is writing in. So when you write songs, you can choose to write in different pens, okay? So the gel pens are glitter, right? They're all very simple, melodic, well, it could be that one. Simple, melodic hooks, catchy beats, sort of statement things. Just as a divergence, I will say that in their video they were upset that Ed Sheeran was not really giving the same imagery as like Small Bump and that, and that is because Ed Sheeran's songwriting has changed to a different style of pen. Now, as I said, glitter pens are very fun songs, very catchy, but there's also quill, which is like poetry and Shakespeare. And then there's fountain pen, which is like writing a diary. So Ed Sheeran might have just written a few songs in more of a gel pen, and obviously we're used to him in a different thing. Now, there is a whole discussion about how keeping the same type of pen makes your whole body of work cohesive. But it's fun. It's music. I don't think there's any rules, and I think that he is now sort of swaying from whatever style he used to write. Now, I wonder why. Why would Ed Sheeran, who is known for these like insanely poetic songs, I mean, maybe he just doesn't know what he's writing as. Maybe he's just going off of grooves. Maybe his brain is more groove focused. Because the thing is, right, you can have all of these tools, but if you're not aware that you're using them, you will always go off of your instinct. And obviously Ed is looking back at his future works. Take Shape of You, for example. That is the most groove song. Like, if I think about it, I think of the hook, I think of the melody. Boom, 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 boom. The lyrics there. I think that because it's such an intuition-based subject, that there's such a blur between using all of these tools and doing it without knowing it or not using it. But my point is, when people don't use it, such as maybe Ed Sheeran, he's saying a lot more like statements. He's not really setting an image. He's more just saying like, this happened, I found my old phone, I went to do this. There is such a blur, but the point is that you notice it as the listener. Also with Ed Sheeran, I think sometimes you forget to step back and remember that you have to see yourself as the listener. Ed just might be writing things that he likes. He's allowed. Good songs, they're just not what people expected, and they're also, compared to other people in the pop field, like Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift uses such a large amount of these techniques that it's almost unmissable when you listen to her work. When you hear it and you know about these techniques, every single line is full of these techniques, and it's insanely clever. But, as my coin theory suggests, the contrast is also just as good. If you keep it simple but catchy, that works. If you have all these tools and you maybe make it a bit less on the production side, they both work.
This is not